When you feel that you've lost everything, you haven't. The fact that you can feel suggests that you haven't lost everything. Now, you're never wrong about how you feel. Notice this. It could always be better. And it could always be worse. Is that true? Now, don't take my word for this. I want you to run it through your own filters and see if it's true. Because if that's true, then no matter how bad things seem right now, it could always be worse. Is that true? Yeah, it could always be worse. And is that true the other direction? No matter how good things seem, it could always be better. Why do I make a big deal out of that? Because it is what it is. You say you've lost everything? Really? You've lost some things. I am not denying that. You have not lost everything. Just over a decade ago, I thought I had lost everything. Not really, because my mind quickly reminded me that I hadn't lost everything. I went through a bankruptcy. Now that's losing everything, right? No, it's not. In fact, the first thing that I noticed after that happened to me, everything was still in color, which somehow surprised me. I was expecting maybe everything would turn into one of those old 20s movies, where everything's black and white, people are hanging their heads and it's dust and depression everywhere. No, color. The wind is blowing, the birds are singing, children are playing in the park. Had I lost everything? No. The fact that I could still see those children playing in the park meant I hadn't lost everything. I interviewed Carol Decker. What an amazing woman. She contracted sepsis as she was having her second child. Went into the hospital, was in a coma. She came out of that coma as a triple amputee and blind. She lost everything. Or did she? Still had her daughter. 2 of them. A loving husband. The subtitle of her book, Unshattered, is Choosing a Beautiful Life. I love that because you never lose everything as long as you're still here. What if you lose your life? Well, that depends on what your beliefs are, but we can leave a legacy behind even after our life is gone. I don't think you fully lose everything anytime. I've probably emphasized that enough. Connect with that for just a moment because how you feel is driven by your perception. When you can go back to the gratitude of what you already have and what you still have, that gives you a place to start from. A good friend of mine, Chad Hymas, taught me something about this. He's an amazing, inspiring man and a world-class speaker. Chad had an accident that left him quadriplegic, meaning all 4 limbs are affected with the paralysis. While he was in the hospital, he started to get into this period of depression because of all that he had lost. And he'd lost everything, right? No. What did he still have? Chad pointed out to me that when he was focused on what he couldn't do, depression, discouragement, when he turned his mind to what can I do, that brought some hope and gave him a starting place. When we've had a significant loss, I think it's important to start focusing on what we have, not what we don't. Because that at least is useful. We can wrap our heads and our hands around that and then start from there. You have to start from somewhere, and where you are is the only practical place that you can start. So let's get good with where we are. Instead of telling ourselves that we've lost everything, let's acknowledge the loss, feel whatever we're going to feel. You're never wrong about that. And then get on track with, okay, what do I have? What can I do? What are my resources? Where can I start? And then actually start. I told you that I ended up in a bankruptcy. It was one of the darkest periods of my life, at least from a financial standpoint. I had never planned on being there. I didn't want to be there. You know me as the pathologically positive Dr. Paul on YouTube. Well, this took a hit, and it was a little hard. It was a lot hard. for me to deal with that. I realized through a number of experiences that I had to start from somewhere. I looked down on the ground and I saw a dime. I reached down and I picked up that dime and I thought, well, there we go. That's what I'm going to start from. And there's a lot more to the story than that. But the point is, let's start from where we are with what we have. That's the only place we can start from anyway.